All right, let's get started on Pisces. So, Pisces, I like what you're pulling here. This, I think, is really good for you guys. So, from Le Vampire, you pulled Enlightenment, Inspiration, Epiphany, and Innovation. And then from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Perception. So, not only are you getting, new, fresh ideas, some new insights here, you're seeing things differently too. Perception is like a guarantee that things are going to be better. You're going to see things in a much better way than what you may have seen them before. So now, enlightenment. This is asking you to pay attention to your inner guidance, which will have bright ideas for you at this time. And it also talks about needing to move beyond habitual solutions to issues that you feel entrenched in. So basically, you're dealing with things in a different way, and there's more of a mental clarity happening, a mental breakthrough. So instead of Pisces being emotional about situations, you're thinking more clearly on how to move forward from that. And I as much as I like seeing this for air signs, I think it's perfect for Pisces. So having that enlightenment happening here, especially when dealing with difficult situations, it's perfect. But what's even better is perception. Now, perception, one of the things that stood out for me is how a lot of times our life will bring us full circle, right? The inspiration talks about this, and it says it leaves us wondering why things happened. And this card teaches us to follow through on whatever is before us. Going back is not an option, which I think that you know that with enlightenment being here, which is a good thing. Now, the personal question says, what in my life needs tending? How good will I allow myself to feel? The key ideas are transformation in the heart, change in perception, the unknown, and promise of a richer experience, which is coming through the mental clarity that you guys now have when it comes to dealing with situations. You're not dealing with it emotionally. You're dealing with it like an air sign would, which is actually probably a good thing, but I do like seeing perception show up. This is one of my favorite cards because it is promising you that you're going to have a better experience than what you've known before. But then also, there will be that change of perception on how you deal with situations too, looking at enlightenment. All right, Pisces, here we go. Here's the energy coming through. Oh boy, getting right to the point. The Two of Cups. So now for some of you, this is going to have to do with a relationship. Now, the Two of Cups doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. This could be, a good business partnership. This could be a good relationship with a family member. It just depends here, and we'll see what's happening. But the Two of Cups is the emotional bonding of two people. So for me, immediately as a signifier, this reading is going to have to do for those of you who are dealing with important relationships in your life. And in the past, the King of Wands. Now, I'm used to seeing the Queen popping up for you guys. Now, for some of you, this could have to do with a fire sign. And because we're doing general readings, this could be male or female. My only problem with the King of Wands is no matter how attractive they are to you, there may be a lack of commitment. And the only reason why I say that is because the King of Wands has a tendency to start something and not finish it. He doesn't pay attention to details. That's where the Queen of Wands comes in at. But for some of you, it's plain and simple between the two. It is a relationship with possibly a person. It could be fire, Aries, Leo, Sag. But this is going to be somebody who I think that, you have an attraction for, being the King of Wands. I do pay attention to the astrological signs when it comes to the court cards that show up. But for those of you who do readings with me, you know that the personality of the court card is what's more important to me. That's what sticks out more than the actual sign, because that sign can be anywhere in their chart. And that can go beyond sun, moon, and rising when you're looking at where Venus is placed and Mars and Mercury, things like that. But we shall see how this King of Wands is playing out here. And in the present, so for some of you, you may be getting some recognition from somebody. Now, the King of Wands, in terms of personality, you will know who this is because their ego will precede them. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be some cocky bastard or anything like that. You know, they're exciting to be around. They're adventurous, you know, and they have a lot of passion and drive. And a lot of times we will feel that energy coming off of them before they're even right next to us, you know. But the Six of Wands in the present is suggesting that maybe for some of you, you're being recognized by somebody. Now, on the other hand, the Six of Wands is victory. Victory over adversity. Now, I don't know. For some of you, I feel like this has to do with recognition or wanting recognition from a certain person. Possibly. I do like the energy of the Six of Wands, but, you know, at the same time, I kind of worry here. I don't know. We'll see. Aries, maybe, for some of you. Future conditions, the Emperor. So now, you know, when you're looking at Aries in connection to the King of Wands, yeah, you've got fire all the way around you, you know. So some of you may be dealing with an actual Aries here. Now, the Emperor. For some of you, this could just be a relationship with an older male in your life, though, too, being the father figure in tarot. Now, on the other hand, in terms of just the energy, you know, this is about getting your shit together, getting things under control, order out of chaos, taking a leadership position. You know, I don't feel too oppressive over it. But I don't know, somebody is wanting recognition from somebody here is what it feels like to me looking at that Six of Wands. That's why it feels a little bit heavy to me. You know, some of you may be receiving this recognition. Some of you are maybe wanting it. You know, and as far as the Emperor goes, this could have to do with, you know, wanting recognition as far as like a job goes, though, too, for that matter. But I don't know. I do like the energy of the Six of Wands in terms of getting victory over your life and getting things under control, maybe having a little bit more passion, getting control over your relationship as well. Your best path to follow, Judgment. Wowza. Wowza. Assessment, atonement, and rebirth. So with Judgment being here, basically it's saying that you need to, you know, make your peace with the past and start moving forward. Now, for some of you, you're hearing a call to action here. You know, I don't feel like you're judging anything negatively or that there needs to be a different judgment on a situation. Possibly for some of you, you're looking at things differently here. But, you know, Judgment is saying that it's time to, you know, do the review, move on, go through the rebirth. But also with Judgment, it is talking about second chances. Possibly. And that's in terms of a relationship. And again, you know, this doesn't have to be romantic. This could be anybody that holds importance in your life. And you have the male energy with the King of Wands and the Emperor. But so far, so good. I'm not seeing anything bad, but I don't know why. I'm just feeling a little bit heavy around it. A Temperance. In your environment, Temperance. So we have Aries and Sagittarius, so it could be any fire sign here. I'd be shocked if I seen Leo show up. Temperance in your environment is telling you to have patience with this. And I feel like for some of you, it's needing to have patience when it comes to the right kind of attention, the right kind of recognition here. And, you know, I don't think that you guys are wanting anything like hasty or like negative attention. You're wanting positive attention in terms of a relationship. But it's like there's a need for you to be patient, especially if you're looking at second chances with a relationship. You know, and maybe some of you are needing to be patient with a fire sign. You know, maybe they need to figure their shit out here. Right? But you don't want to be hanging around waiting forever, though, to get the attention that you feel like you deserve, you know? Your hopes and your fears, oh yeah. Oh yeah. Pisces, you got a lot of fire going on around you here. The Ace of Wands, hoping for a new passionate beginning. And then going back to perception, I do think that for some of you, you may be seeing things differently. You know, because again, you're getting this mental breakthrough. But I do worry about, you know, where the Six of Wands is coming into play here. I don't like the idea that, you're looking for just some short-term satisfaction situation here. I like seeing the Ace of Wands with the Two of Cups, absolutely, especially if you're looking at second chances with a relationship. Now, if we're talking business, you're talking about new creative ideas, for sure, and it looks good. And it is that new beginning that you've been hoping for, and it's there. But, what I'm looking at is, the situation with wanting recognition. Somebody's wanting it. Somebody's wanting it. And I just kind of worry about, where your hopes are leading you. But I'm not seeing anything bad at all. Some of you just may need to have patience with a person. And again, you got fire all the way around you. Right? I mean, judgment, hell, you got the phoenix rising from the ashes here. Damn. But I do think that for some of you, you need to be patient when it comes to receiving the right recognition, especially if you're dealing with somebody who may be a little bit stubborn, because, I do get that from the Emperor, just because they're so set in their ways. But I don't think that this is an oppressive energy. Because, again, I'm not seeing anything bad. If that were the case, I would expect to see it within the first 3 polls, But I don't know. I just feel a little bit iffy about it. I would just say that when it comes to wanting attention, just make sure that, you're getting the attention you deserve, right? Not some lust-filled, cocky person coming through giving you attention and you accepting it. But then on the other hand, I don't know. I just feel like some of you are being patient or needing to be patient with receiving the correct recognition possibly from a person here. Oh boy. Talk about being stubborn and set in ways. Oh my goodness. When I see these two together, yeah. Yep. You may have somebody who is stubborn, who may be really set in their ways. And you may be patiently waiting on them to recognize you or recognize the relationship. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of strife that's going on. I just think that maybe, you're not getting what you need. Because I'm not seeing any emotions coming out here. Now, with the Hierophant coming out, we're going to clarify this one. Right? This is about traditions. It is about doing things in the traditional sense. But this to me is stubborn. Especially when it comes to the Emperor. If you're dealing with a fire sign, or even a Taurus for that matter, right? They could be like really set in their ways, I don't know. I just feel like for some of you, it's like you're patiently waiting to get the recognition that you deserve from this. But I want to look at that Hierophant and see what the hell that's about. Now, for some of you, it could be a commitment. Okay. Son of a bitch. I said it. And sure shit, there's Leo. So with the Hierophant, you have Strength and the Page of Cups. The Page of Cups is about a new emotional experience, And this may be coming through a fire sign because holy shit, you have fire all the way around you. Now, for some of you, this could just be somebody that has a lot of passion. And you may find them like really, really attractive. Strength is telling you to just, tap into that inner strength here, because you will, I think, get to the point here where you get the commitment that you deserve and the proper recognition that you deserve. There's a lot of passion going on around you. As much as I love the Ace of Wands, I would rather have seen the Ace of Pentacles. And I say that a lot because, passions tend to burn out too quickly, and that's where you got to be careful here. But absolutely, the new beginning is there. You're looking at second chances within a relationship, being patient on somebody, and getting the attention that you deserve or the recognition that you deserve here with the Six of Wands. And again, this could be business and this could be a romantic relationship. Either way, it is a new emotional experience for you. And for a lot of you, you just need to have strength and patience. And I'm seeing that a lot lately. Oh boy, Pisces, oh boy, what's happening? What is happening? I always get curious when relationship cards show up. When we're doing general readings, I try to keep it open to everybody that I'm reading for. But I'm telling you, if this is a personal reading, I'd be all over this, clarifying the shit out of everything. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now we're going to take a look at the soul trees to see what other messages there are for you guys. And for all the Pisces that are here with me. After the soul trees, we're going to be pulling from the love oracles. And I want you guys to tell me, do you want to see the romance angels or do you want to see whispers of love? Or I can pull a card from both. Pisces. All right, Pisces. Emerging, something is emerging, hell yeah. What are the messages for Pisces? Wisdom and earth. Oh my goodness, yes. And maybe needing to have a little bit of earth instead of so much damn fire. There is so much fire going on. Okay, first of all, something is emerging. Something is emerging within you and within your life. And this, I feel, is new with the Page of Cups being there. Now, with wisdom, that to me is going right along with perception and seeing things a little bit differently here. And then not only that, but with enlightenment. Absolutely. Like, I feel like that is where this is going back to here. So wisdom, right? Tapping into that wisdom, a new wisdom that is emerging within you. But earth is a little bit different. When you see this card, it's telling you go outside. Go outside. Spend some time with the trees. It sounds so silly when you say it, but the thing is when you're outside and you're connecting with nature, you have the ability to get a little bit more grounded. And it is wonderful in terms of meditation, being outside, listening to nature, talking to the trees, damn it, right? Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's not silly. All right, guys. So far I'm seeing both, that we want both. We want a card from Whispers of Love and we want a card from the Romance Angels. So I am going to start with Whispers of Love here and pull a card for you guys. Romance. Oh boy. Lavish the one that you love with your personal attention and affection. Attention, attention, attention. Oh boy. Right? Like if you're wanting that recognition, you got to give a little bit too, especially when we're talking about a relationship here. Attention, needing to have attention. That seems to be what's happening here. But, I do kind of feel like some of you may be looking at a commitment coming out of this with the Hierophant though too. All right. Playfulness. To recapture romance, allow your inner youthful spirit of fun to shine. So play, have fun, right? Especially within a relationship. A lot of times we spend too much time thinking about the end result, what's going to happen next and what's going to happen after that. And we forget to enjoy the moment, right? And enjoying the playful nature, especially if you're feeling something new here with the Page of Cups, especially in terms of a relationship here, right? So need to play, have fun, enjoy the experience, right? And again, attention, needing attention seems to be the most important thing when it comes to relationships for Pisces. And that makes sense. Being a water sign, absolutely, I want to have attention from, the partner, right? But it looks good. It looks good, and I think it's funny here that you have Aries, Leo, and Sag showing up. But I would say that you just need to be patient, especially if you're dealing with somebody that's so full of passion that they're like constantly on the move and, you may not be getting the attention that you want right now. It's there. It's coming, right? And you may get some commitment out of this situation too, especially for those of you who are dealing with a relationship. But in terms of work and career, it actually looks really good. I think you're going to come out good in the end here.